and with respect to everybody else's time.
All right. I will take roll. Chair Martin.
Here.
Vice Chair Hamilton. Secretary Witten. Regent Finan.
Here.
Regent Green.
Here.
Regent Martin is not yet sworn in. Regent Rabinowitz. All right, we do not have a quorum, but we will proceed with all information items.
Okay.
Okay, and Regent Martin, if you would prefer, I can bring up the September itinerary for review. Yes, sir. So our September 21st and 22nd meeting will take place at the system office here in Versailles. We will start with a optional lunch at noon. If the regents wish to eat lunch together, they can get here at noon. If they are traveling and unable to be here at noon, they can be here by 1 o'clock for the start of the meeting. So official business will start at 1 p.m. We will go until 4:30 on Thursday afternoon, and then we will have a reception and a dinner that evening. We're still working on location for that dinner on Thursday night, but we will have hotel accommodations at the Holiday Inn and Express here in Versailles.
Okay.
And then we will start at our usual time of 9 a.m. on Friday, September 22nd. Wrap up by noon or shortly thereafter, and hopefully have everyone gone by no later than 4 p.m. And I will pull up now the agenda so we can look at specific agenda items. On Thursday at 1 o'clock, again at that 1 o'clock start time, we will have roll call to order, all of the usual things. We will have an open comment period as we did at our previous few meetings. To date, I have not had anyone interested in making a public comment, but we may get someone before the meeting who wishes to do so. We will approve minutes, have a chair report from Regent Martin, and this will be his first meeting as chair. So look forward to that. And then we will have a president's report from acting president, Dr. Ferguson. And I failed to mention at the start of the meeting, Dr. Ferguson is actually with our college presidents right now. Pam and I just came from that meeting, and we told him that we would cover this meeting for him so that they could continue on with their meeting. So that's where Dr. Ferguson is. We will then have a Huron project update. I do not believe that we will need to take action on anything. I think it will just be an update. You know, we did at our last meeting take action on the 12 opportunities, and then they will be presenting about the comp and class information in September, but it will not be actionable at this point. And then we will have an executive session at the end of Thursday to wrap up.
Anna, are you saying that the Huron presentation won't be actionable at this point, but could that change as we get closer in to the meeting?
Pam, do you want to answer that? Do you want to take that over?
No, I don't foresee that there will be an action item closer to the meeting. There will be a presentation to the board, I think virtually in the week of the 14th of September, I believe. So at that point, you'll go away with that information. And then once that has happened, then we'll come back at a later date to determine when and what needs to be reviewed and acted upon by the board.
Okay. And I may have missed this. I'm running slow today. Any update on the presidential search as part of our meeting?
Actually, that's a great question. I do not have that on there at this point, or at the meeting point on September 22nd. We will have our finalist interview scheduled by then. So hopefully there will be lots of communication coinciding with this meeting date, but I'm happy to add an agenda item that's an update on the presidential search.
Barry, I think there'll be strong interest from our board on that, no matter what it is. Just, I think
Sure.
putting it on the agenda would be good.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
yes. Thank you. Great addition. I will put that on there. And then so on Friday morning, again at the start time at 9 a.m., we will move forward with other agenda items. We will have an update from our acting chancellor, whom the board has met. I believe they met her in June, but she will be there to present initiatives from her area, as well as the ratification of credentials and an update on suspended programs and certificates. That comes in front of the board twice a year. And Vice President Shook will be presenting initiatives around workforce and economic development. And then we will move into organization success. And I will provide an update on our state legislative agenda as we look ahead to the 2024 state legislative session. We are scheduled to have an audit meeting next week, August 30th, and Chair Martin will give an update from that committee meeting to the full board. We will ratify personnel actions as we routinely do at every meeting. Council Duncan will also be giving an update on the other post-employment benefit trust, the OPEB trust, and I believe that was requested be done at least once a year from the board. So council will be delivering that update. We will need to take action on our 2024-2026 biennial budget request. Vice President Combs, or interim Vice President Combs, will be presenting that to the board. And then we have several, I believe, I want to say 10 capital construction projects that will need to be approved. Some of these are because of, I guess, the increased cost associated with them. So they have already gained approval, but then they need to come back and have another approval by the board.
Anna, in the face of the Huron study and the whole real estate efficiency piece, how is that going to be factored in? Because I think that will be a board question, given the attention that we gave to that whole part of the study.
Sure. I assume that in the presentation that there would be some consideration of how it factors in. I know that some of these things are probably have to be done regardless of the Huron study, for instance, an HVAC replacement.
Yeah.
My first glance at them, I don't see anything that is, well, I do see a renovation, but I also see, a roof replacement. Some of these I think have to happen regardless of Huron, but I will ask that be considered when these presentations are made and voted upon.
I think that would just be proactive and smart to do, because I think it'll be top of mind from the board members, especially the ones that you've pointed out. In the college mobile healthcare labs, that could be an expensive piece as well.
Well,
Yes.
and we have to look and make sure that these projects didn't have direct fundraisers or isn't reserved capital projects.
So, and that's what I would say about the Owensboro Community and Technical College Mobile Healthcare Labs. That actually is an appropriation that the legislature has, and Owensboro is simply a pass-through for that particular amount of money. It is part of the Owensboro Healthcare Initiative, the Innovation Center, that they had an appropriation line item.
Restricted, that's what I was looking for. Make sure it's not a restricted asset that has had money allocated for, because that should be one of our litmus tests for any capital projects.
Sure.
If it's not on that list, then why are we doing it right now?
Yeah.
Yes, and I have not seen the associated agenda items for these projects, but I will ask that that consideration is included for review. That it references whether or not it is needed, or it's restricted funds and all of that information for you.
And so this will be sent prior. I'm sorry, Barry, go ahead.
We did make that caveat during the Huron presentation that if there was restricted funds or this was some kind of pass through, that we would not be held we would not restrict that ourselves.
Yes, this information will appear. You'll have the agenda items a week ahead of time, Regent Finance, so that you can review it and ask any questions before the meeting. Yes.
Perfect. Real quick, Hannah, going back up to the, let's see, your legislative session, will you be able to provide an update on the CPE study that's ongoing with the 4 years?
Yes, ma'am. I will provide an update on that. I do not anticipate that we will have the study in hand by this time in September, or by our September meeting. CPE has promised that the universities and Dr. Ferguson will see the report ahead of them providing it to the Legislative Research Commission, which they have to do by December 1st. But I think that thinking we're going to have it 6 weeks ahead of time is a little optimistic. But I will talk about that in my report and what we're hearing and what we could possibly anticipate coming from the report.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah, before we go on, can I back up to the OPEB trust and several of the ratification of the personnel actions? So I don't believe that the board has ever fully heard the results of the human resources analysis from the Huron project, the short-term 10-week project. So I would like to give an update on that and an update on where we are and how human resources is currently working.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
Okay. And did you want to talk about the OPEB trust? Did you mention that?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Okay. And then after all of those projects, again, we will have a financial report, as with every meeting, delivered by interim Vice President Combs. And we will have an update from Vice President House on technology solutions and the work that they have done over the last year. And that will conclude our meeting. And of course, I will add these agenda items that were just mentioned, the presidential search and an update on the HR Huron study.
Great.
Hannah, I just want to make sure, I know we've talked about this before as far as the Huron recommendations and how, we'll later vote on those or decide how we want to proceed. But just to kind of reiterate for everyone, since we're not planning on taking any action at this meeting, if we decided to take action, we will have a special called meeting. Is that, or maybe that question is for Pam, is that correct?
Well, so if there is action to be taken, you can either have a special called meeting in between October 1 and the end of November, or you can wait until the December timeframe, where we would more likely have all of the road mapping and implementation for everything to give you a better view of how the class and comp would be implemented and what time frame it would be. Today we talked to the presidents about several considerations such as technology. There have to be new codes in PeopleSoft for changes in the classifications and the pay structure. So we would want to make sure all of that is in place to be able to present to the board. So it would be either at a special called meeting or to give time to have the full administrative implementation. It may be just as well to wait until the December board meeting, the regular board meeting, to take action.
Okay, that is all I have for the reviewing for September. If there are any other questions or any new business we need to handle, but Chair Martin, I will turn it back over to you.
No, I think we just need to be ready whenever the Huron results come back. If it's early, right after one of our meetings, then maybe we call a special called meeting. If not, wait, and it gives us all kind of time to digest it, and then maybe come back. That's something that I'm hoping that we're working on some of these. Not hoping. I know we are working on some of the implementation as we speak. So I think the main thing is the comp and class part of it. Everybody is in suspense, and I really feel like we have to get on that and start working on it as soon as we get it.
To that point, Barry, Pam, do you have any idea of the implementation schedule for these recommendations?
Well, and that is what we've really been trying to discuss, because first of all, we have to create a time frame and determine what must be done first. And so right now, Huron has about 2 to 3 more weeks of work to do with position mapping, and then they will be presenting in September to both the PLT and the board. They have a playbook, which is a compensation playbook, and that playbook is in draft form right now. Comments were due today, and the PLT the presidents will be receiving it tomorrow. So I honestly believe that the implementation period will take, to do correctly, about 6 months total.
Okay.
So that you can budget, make sure that you have budgeted properly. You've identified everyone who's in the high risk territory. So if there are equity issues, those would come first. And then everything flows from there. There need to be new policies and procedures in place. So we have a policy and procedure team up and running. And like I said, the technology needs to be in place too, because will have geographical kind of scales that will go in the pay grades. You will need to create new codes in PeopleSoft to ensure that those pull directly the proper pay scales.
Okay. Yeah, I think coming out, the recommendations, but also the time frame, I think would be well received.
Yes.
Kind of a dual outreach on that end, because I hear what Barry's saying in terms, I know we're implementing some of this likely on the fly, but I think to the audience at hand, it will be important to really be strong about the implementation and the time frame.
I agree. And I think that needs to be stressed to everyone. Even if there is a delay for implementation periods or stages, we are, as an institution, committed to making this happen and to ensuring that this isn't just another study that goes by the wayside.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
We promised that would not happen, and that will not happen. But maybe it would be a good idea in the president's report for Dr. Ferguson to update us on some of the initiatives that is really directly involved the Huron recommendations. I'm sure he's already got that in mind, but let's just put that bug in his ear that we would like for that to be incorporated into the president's report. We got the Huron update, which they can give us, and the main piece is the comp and class. We've got the 12 points of the 12 areas that we're looking to work on, and like I said, we're already probably working on a lot of those on our day-to-day stuff.
Yeah. Right, and I would say today, although I was caught up in another meeting and we're rescheduling this, We're having a kickoff session, just kind of planning session for the implementation of several of those priorities from the other work stream. So that will be coming, and we'll be able to give you an update on where we are. I do know that Andy's area facilities has been working on the DECA portion of it, and we're working on some communication. So there is a lot of updating that can be had. And they are working on those. We're just about to post a position for a project management manager. So there's a lot going on, and I think an update is definitely in order.
I was very encouraged by Larry's message to the board on Friday. I thought it was succinct. I thought it was focused. And then just his update on the PMO was just very encouraging. Like there was real action that was underway. And so I think to be able to share that with the wider board and as appropriate to others, I think can be a real lift. Sounds like great work is underway, Pam, Hannah. Great job.
We're getting there.
Yep, you are.
Okay, well, that is it if we have nothing else.
Okay.
Wow, I found an hour and a half. You're giving me an hour and a half back. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Windfall, yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to do this audit by weight. It's going to be audit by production.
There you go. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Right, Keith? I'm doing a sound check on him. I don't hear him.
I think he's frozen.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's
Okay,
nothing
great.
else, that we have no actionable items we can act on, because we don't have a quorum?
Not with Vice Chair Hamilton frozen. We still don't have a quorum.
Okay.
So we
I think
can.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh,
That-
he's back. So by consensus, we can adjourn. We do
Okay, great.
now have a quorum.
Great.
Sorry about that. I've had all kind of technical difficulties with my computer and my phone, so I apologize.
It's okay. Pam, did we have something earlier, the minutes or something that we needed to?
Oh, yes, we
Yes,
do.
the minutes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we
Need
need
a
a motion to accept the minutes from our
Mhm.
last. Okay, we have a motion. Second?
Second.
We have a second.
And
Pam,
if there
I'm
are,
sorry. Pam, this is your job. I'm sorry.
that's okay. If there are no changes, then they are approved by consensus.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, thank you all. Good to see
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
See you in a few.
Pam,
Bye.
get used to this. You'll have to slap my hands, because usually when I'm chair, I kind of move things along pretty quick.
Hey, we love it. There will be no hand slapping from us.
No, none.
Okay. Thank you all.
Sounds good.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.